Evan?
Thanks for
What's up,
joining
guys?
us.
I like that, offline you guys had absolutely zero energy. So you guys are gonna need to pick it the fuck up.
Oh
We're like,
my gosh, we're just here. Where are you at, Kev? How are you doing? I want to know what's going on with you on the basketball tip, dude. I want to see Kevin Love play basketball.
yeah, he's coming back very soon, in February. No, I feel great, honestly.
Okay.
Back on the moving around. I think the hardest thing, obviously, with the lower extremity injury, is just getting the cardio back up. And you guys know, it's so much easier actually to just get out there and play. I would almost rather run lines. I don't care if it's 8, 12, suicide, whatever it may be, rather than, doing as you know, Derek Millender, like a D-mill bike workout or a first climber workout.
And the thing about those workouts is, yes, they do help you keep your conditioning, but nothing is like basketball. So you're really doing that knowing that it's not really going to help, but it's going to make sure that you don't get too out of shape.
Agree. And it was hard that first couple weeks because I couldn't do any cardio. So when I started to get back and sweat again, it felt amazing. And then, a little bit more than a couple weeks back when D-Mill was like, all right, baby, we're about 30 days out, about a month out from playing, he like turned a corner and it was crazy.
My introduction. So basically what you're saying is that you didn't gain like 30 pounds like Channing did.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, good. My introduction to D-Mill was so funny. He was like, hey, first, like before training camp, my first year there, he was like, all right, Richard, we start doing all these measurements and like poking and prodding. And he was like, hey, I just, we need to make sure, like, in case you like have a knee injury or something, that we have all these measurements. And I'm like, dude, I'm 35. If I have a knee injury, I'm retiring. Leave me alone. Stop poking and prodding.
Kevin, what is going on in your world? Besides, okay, obviously there's the injury that you're working on. You're almost back. But how is the team? We've seen you lately, obviously very energetic on the sidelines. The Cavs look great. They're a lot of fun to watch. How is all of that? JB, shout out to JB.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking actually on paper at the beginning of the season, and it was hard to, kind of understand where we were at or where we were going to go or how we were going to play coming out of the gate. But I knew when we got to camp, just the energy and the feel around this group, which all starts with JB, but really our young guys are on the same page. Most of our veterans are the big men. So I knew right away that it was going to be a good season for us. We had like 3, 4, 5 guys out at one point, but we were still finding ways to win. Like our defense is always there. We play for each other. We have each other's backs. JB is great, a great defensive mind. And then on the offensive end, we were just losing some firepower. We had Darius out. We had Colin out. We had Dylan Windler out, myself, Larry. And we just had a number of guys missing games. So I feel like even when, I come back, Larry gets full strength with his wrists and guys really get healthy, that we're going to hit that next level. And it's going to be great for us in that second half of the season once we get that break in March.
Hush with this whole
That's so awesome.
X's and O's, this X's and O's nonsense, Kevin.
What are you
I want to know. I want to know
how great of a vibe we had.
Screw your vibe. I don't care about your vibe. X's and O's. Like when we get these guys to what happened with Kevin Porter? I was covering the Pac-12, right? So I saw the kid at USC. I knew how talented he was. There was, some whatever. He had an injury, but he dropped, and all of a sudden the Cavs got him. And I, know JB well now. And I'm like, dude, this will be, a good opportunity for him, blah, blah. And they just couldn't get him right. And then there's a blow up, and then like, again, I know that the kid probably needs a fresh start. I think Houston's going to be a great place for him. Yeah. But like, you don't have to give us details. Like, we can talk about this without talking about it. But like, how did that shit all go down? What was your guys' reaction? Just like, and I know you guys are always trying to be supportive. So we're not trying to like talk shit about the kid, but just like, what went down, dude? You guys, they had such a good young nucleus there, and he was a part of that. Like, and then next thing you know, it's just like, no, he's not going to be with us moving forward. We're looking to trade him.
Yeah, well, I was actually telling Channing not too long ago. I said, if you look at our entire team and you take KP, you take Kevin Porter Jr. and you stack him up, he was by far the most talented guy we had on our roster.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I looked at him and I thought, man, he's like in a lot of ways a left-handed Russell Westbrook. Like, you know, can rebound the basketball, can really pass, can get his own shot, can finish at the rim, body control and shoulders. He's just so good at that, finishing around the rim, like I said. But, you know, I just think he was super young. He had a tough upbringing, you know, somebody that had and has seen a lot in his life. So I think that affected him, you know, becoming a professional and speeding up, you know, really getting into the league and figuring things out. And I think because we had a lot of turmoil at the beginning of last year, that process was cut short on top of, you know, us playing 65 games and having 17 games taken away from us, not being invited to the bubble, you know, putting yourself in isolation and not around your teammates and not around this coaching staff, including JB, who was like a mentor for him. So I think in a lot of ways it was just a perfect storm, because if you talk to KP, like he'll always say, like, Scoot, that's my Northwest brother. Like we talked about our upbringing, you know, how different they were, but how great the Northwest is, you know, what we can learn. You know, we had the great nucleus with, like you said, with Colin, with Dylan, with Darius. Like those guys all got along really well. Tell that they were going to be the future team, and him playing the 2 or 3 in a lot of cases, bringing the ball up as the 1. I was like, man, this kid is so talented. He's going to be, you know, has the ability to be like a real star in this league. And I'm just really happy, even with everything that went down, while it was unfortunate, and sometimes you see that in this league. He's so young. He's going to continue to learn. So I'm happy that he got another shot, because he is strip back those layers, he is a really good kid. I know he's had his moments. There's been some things that have gone really wrong for him, but at the end of the day, deep down there, he has a really good heart. So I'm hoping it works out for him in Houston. I'm hoping that's a good spot for him with how they play, and that, you know, he'll have success in this league and continue to, you know, make the most of that second shot that he has.
Yeah. And the crazy thing too is that sometimes, like, when you lash out and you have a moment or whatever it is, and the organization is like, all right, you're gone. Then you go to the next place, and then it starts to realize, like, oh, wait, this isn't college. This isn't high school. Like, I only get one. Like, if Houston's like, no, he's gone, then there's a 99% chance, not 90, but probably about 75% chance that you're done. So hopefully, you know, that helps wake him up. But yeah, no, the Cavs, that one hurt a little bit, but you guys have a really, really good young team. I actually called the game that you guys beat Brooklyn the first time. Was it the first time? Yeah, the first time. That was like when Colin was going nuts. He was going nuts.
Of Colin has been, I mean, it's so funny, because I was telling a story to Zach Lowe and telling him, you know, in that game, at like the end of the third quarter, he always comes to me after timeout, asks me, you know, what do you see? Like, let's talk. I said, okay. I said, you know, how, you know, you're drawing the switch. Who are you getting on you? He's like, well, a lot of times it's James, and like Jeff Green, I got to go at him different. I said, yeah. And like Harden was giving him such a cushion. I said, you got to look for, you know, the pull up there before he actually respects it, and then you go by him and score. He goes, all right, bet. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit 2 pull-ups on him, and then when he comes up, I'm going to, like, you know, high cross and get to the lane. And that's he, like, called his shot. He's like, he's like, man, if we're close enough at the end of the game, I'm going to hit a big shot. And I told him after the game, I was like, man, you really called your shot there. So that was amazing to see, and, you know, somebody who's grown so much. But one of my favorite plays from that game was, you know, he was drawing so much attention. Obviously, he had 42 points, but he comes down, he's about to go up, and another Brooklyn guy came from Brooklyn. Taurean Prince was in the corner. Like, a lot of the time, Channing, you know this, he probably would have shot that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he kicked it out to Taurean for the shot in the corner. He made it, and that really sealed it. That was huge for us. So, I mean, Colin has really, really grown. I think Darius has grown a lot this year, but our young core is something to be super really, really excited about, and I'm happy to be a part of it. These guys are fun to be around.
Speaking of Colin, go on, Jenny, you got it.
No, go ahead.
Also, hey, Richard, love Jared Allen as well. I didn't realize he's so young.
Yeah, Jared's really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
So I talked to JB, and he goes, "Man, Jared Allen's so funny." I'm like, "Yeah, man. The people at the Nets, they loved him. Obviously, James Harden is like a once in a generation player, so you have to let certain pieces go." But he goes, after Jarrett caught the second lob or something, he goes, "Richard, Jarrett walks by me and goes, I think I'm going to like it here." And Jimmy's like, "Man, go sit your ass down, man. Yes, I'm glad you're going to like it here, man." But yeah, no, he's a really good dude. But that was the Nets, man. If you look at the last, shout out to Sean Marks and what Sean Marks kind of built over time, and Kenny Atkinson and like that whole group, it was like, they helped change D'Angelo Russell. Like D'Angelo Russell was, an all-star. They got Karis LeVert. They get Spencer Dinwiddie. They resurrected Joe Harris. Like, we know this. Joe Harris, like, he was in training camp with us the year we won the championship. They drafted him. They're like, "Joe, you need to shoot. Joe, shoot the ball every time you touch it." And he had to go out of the league, come back into the league. And he's like, "Okay, well, if I'm going to stay here, I need to shoot it every time I touch it." And all of a sudden, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league.
Yeah.
Right?
And
like
league is tailor-made for him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Tailor-made.
Yeah,
so
tailor-made.
And you can tell, like, even the first game that you saw Brooklyn play at home, I remember, I think it was like KD had passing the ball in the corner, and he like pump faked, didn't have it again, and then passed it back out. And then KD was, I think he got in his face. They had the camera on him. It was like, shoot it every
time.
Next time down the left corner. Wow. So he's been letting it fly. That's one person too, because we saw, listen, he came to a team that was full of veterans, a team that was expected at least to go to the finals, if to not win an NBA championship, and to be like the sole rookie on that team. Ooh. I mean, that's intimidating. Like that is a lot to like.
And he's too nice. He's so nice.
He was too nice.
What? No, I'm not. What I mean,
now he moved to Brooklyn, got a little bit of ink on him, so he's
got a little bit of ink. Yeah, I saw that. I saw something. Got that Brooklyn
edge to him.
When it comes to the Cavs, okay, Kev, obviously you mentioned once you get back, once Larry gets back, what you have already, we're just over a quarter of the way through the season. You guys are in 7th in the East. Is it realistic to think that the Cavs could be in the playoffs?
Yes.
Really?
I really think so, because we're balanced now across the board. One thing that we were, kind of struggling with was adding that other wing player. But now we really adding Jarrett as another big as well. Like you have JaVale, you have Drummond, you have Larry, you have myself, you have Jarrett Allen. Like we have a formidable front line.
Yeah, I got a bunch of big. Yeah. JaVale's gonna. Yeah,
like,
JaVale's gonna end up someplace else. But yeah.
Say it again.
I said JaVale's gonna end up someplace else. But yeah, you guys have a lot of talent
around too, because he's like a big rah like hype you up type of guy. So before the game, when we get in the huddles, he's locked in. 3-time NBA champ. Don't forget.
Have you guys talked about going against one another at all? Have you guys talked about those days? Warriors, Cavs. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But also, it's funny about JaVale. Like he's really turned into a consummate pro. Like JaVale is funny. Everybody knows about what he does in music with Bieber, and he does always has the camera with him. He's hyping us up. He's a great vet, but like 13 years in the league, he's the oldest guy on our team. He's won 3 championships, and from where he's come, as a basketball player, as a person, and who he is from year one, his rookie year to now, it's day. And we were actually talking about that the last time we were in New York for preseason, and it's just amazing to see his growth over the years. I think that was part of the reason that, we brought him in. And even if he's, traded by the deadline, like Richard's saying, maybe more than me, but I only say that because it's like, dude, with you, they bring in Jared Allen, they got Drummond, JaVale McGee. It's like this league, you probably need 2.5 big men. And when I say a half, that means like a 4 that can also play the 5. So if you've got 3 big men like Jared Allen, Drummond, and JaVale McGee, you're not getting rid of Jared Allen. Drummond, you're trying to figure out what you can do with his contract and blah, blah, blah. So it's just like, and
I've also heard, no disrespect, but I've also heard Kev's name.
Yeah.
Rolling around.
Alex,
almost got traded 15 times.
with me as well. You know that my name's coming up, regardless. No matter what the year is, my name's coming up in Cleveland.
It's like,
you think it's still the same though now as it was then?
No,
I feel like
it's probably different now. I mean, listen, I can look in the mirror and admit who I am, and
see all those grays, see all those salt and peppers, see those salt and peppers now, and you're like, yeah, I'm getting older. I'm getting older.
Well, on top of that, when you have a team that's like up and coming and you're rebuilding, that's like a hitter word there, hot word. But I think potentially, especially with adding Torian and Jared, and seeing where we're going, even Larry's still very young in this league. Like, maybe they want to do something with me to, I don't know, send me to a team where they can get assets. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen. All I know is, like, with this team, I'm going to continue to do right. I love these guys on the team. I think everybody would attest to that. Like, it's just such a good vibe. And you can look at our bench and then look at the other benches, and we're basically like the Lakers were in the bubble. Like, up.
Yeah.
Play.
Kev, we just talked about that with the Cavs Lakers. Your energy and your intensity, we were talking about it in the studio watching the game. Like, look at Kevin Love. He hasn't played in 16, 17 games. And, like, he's the first guy you see with that energy. It was the same thing with, like, Swish in the bubble. Like, Swish wasn't playing at all.
Thanks for that. Yeah, well, but wait, who was the guy that was talking shit to Bron? Who was the guy that was clapping in Bron's face and pissed him off?
Hillman.
Say it again.
Jason
Hillman?
I didn't even know that happened. I didn't know it was Hillman until the next day. So Steve Spiro had come to me and he's like, man, somebody in the front office pissed LeBron off. Don't be surprised. Literally, Steve Spiro said, don't be surprised if he has 25 points this quarter. He had the 3 layups. He had 2 layups and a dunk within, I think it was like the first 90 seconds. And Steve, we call it timeout, and Steve just looks at me with his pen. Nuts. So the next day, Phil Handy, he's breaking down film, and he sends me like a 10-15 second clip, and it's me sitting there because we were all up at the front, like it was crunch time, end of the game, and Bron comes over, gives me a little dap and says, hey, K-Love, I swear to God, if they gap me, I'm shooting this bitch. And he was 6% of the – he was like, they better not gap me. I'm going to let this thing fly. And so I'm like, you guys better not gap me.
You were like –
So what happened is we gap him. So it's a pick and roll, I believe, with Jarrett and Isaac Okoro. And Isaac's like, he's a rookie. He's just going by the game plan, right? But, he has 40 points at the time. He's 6 for 10 from 3. Like, sometimes you got to make adjustments, right?
Yeah.
And so, of course, they gap it. And as soon as they do, you can see me go.
Yeah. Kev just, like, walks off to the side.
Did you really? Did you
really?
really?
Oh, my God.
I got to get that clip.
He literally was just like.
Yeah, I'm just like, I put my hand like this. I just walk out. And Phil Handy, like, he ran it back like 4 separate times, like one in slow motion. Then you see the rewind. It goes, and then I'm like, oh. And that was a really, really funny moment.
I remember we were in Phoenix, and he was Bron was in Miami, and he had a semi-quiet game, and somebody on our bench, I forgot who it was, he's not in the league anymore, yells at Bron, oh, we living, and the whole bench goes, shut the fuck up. And Bron goes, okay, I see you. And our assistant coach, Longo, goes, what the fuck did you do that for? Shut your goddamn mouth. Man, Bron proceeded. Hey, look, you heard this. Click, 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 click. And turn the burners on. And he was barbecuing PJ Tucker.
Dog, we did that.
What you have for me?
Dude, I kid you not, dude. I did that too. I used to do it to all the guys, especially when I was like older and not playing. Just like I would like start talking shit on the bench, and they would like turn around. I think KD one time, I said something, and he turned around. And he was like, "Oh, this fucking dude, just sit over there." And so I'm like, dude, I'm bored. Leave me alone. But I did that. I did it to Kobe, right? Oh. So this is when we were no. This was like older Kobe. Like he was like kind of like holding on. But he was still Kobe, like no make no dip. But Chandler Parsons, so we're playing, he's in Dallas, and Chandler Parsons, it was his first year, he's having a good year in Dallas. And Chandler hits a 3 and did something. Kobe comes back down, I'm like, yeah, bust his ass, Chandler, bust his ass. Dog, so Kobe starts doing that head nod. Literally, they go down. Chandler Parsons is the one that runs back to our bench. It was like, guys, stop it. Leave him alone. He had to guard Kobe. He was like, guys, stop it. That's not funny. Leave him alone. And I'm like, dude, like, you can't be, like, I get it. It's Kobe, but it's like, dude, also, like, don't be afraid of him and don't, like, run back to the – it's one thing when a coach will be like, guys, stop that. Leave that man alone. But when, like, the guy guarding him, it's like – I was like, yeah, bust his ass. Because, like, Chandler hits a three. And then so like as they come, I was like, yeah, bust his ass, Chandler. So then they go back and then, like, I don't know what Kobe did on the offensive end, but then running back, Chandler like runs from like the left wing back to the right wing to come tell the bench to be quiet.
There are certain dudes you just want to just let them just stay over there.
Yeah, just stay over there. But I was like, dude, he's 75 years old.
And Kobe is like a natural born killer. He was a natural born killer. We all know that.
Yeah. That's
like the last thing he needs.
But it was still funny though, because I knew what I was doing. I was like, dude, I'm just over.
Thinking.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I was just sitting over there. I was like, shit, I'm here. I might as well watch Kobe put on a show. Yeah, bust his ass, Chandler. Bust his ass, Chandler. He ain't got nothing. I'm not getting in that game. I was like, dude, it's like, come on, man. I had to guard him in the finals. That's 21 years old. Like, you can handle him at 37. Like, shut up, Chandler. Go play. Shout out to my guy, Chandler Parsons.
Some of the games, man, when I wasn't playing, I was like, damn, I got a good life right now, dog. I was like, look, I'm in shape. I feel good. This is amazing. Some games I had popcorn. I was like, ooh, this is going to be good.
Oh, yeah. You just get
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Wait, this is at what part of your career?
The last part.
Yeah. The beginning, portions of the middle.
Instead of the retirement tour, it was the bar tour. So it was because every city we were hitting a new bar.
Woo!
And
you remember bars? Oh man!
Yo, they just opened up. California just opened up again. The stay-at-home orders are done, and so it was like I was stuck. I literally got stuck up in Mammoth. I went up there, took my boys' birthdays, so took them up there to teach them skiing. Wednesday there was 7 to 9 feet of snow in 2.5 days. We were stuck up there. It was nuts, dude. But it's like now everything's open.
Right?
Yeah, Chenny, are you gonna get on skis, dude? Can we get you on some skis, Chenny?
I got skis. I just got to learn. You know, I got to get some clothes that fit me too. You know, them things are not built for 7-footers, so I can't be out there in no Janko jeans now.
Kev, have you skied or done anything like that before?
Yeah, when I was young, I used to go up to Mount Hood with my family, but I was probably like Channing was. I was the big kid, so I actually learned to ski in Lake Tahoe, so Squaw Valley, because that's where my uncle lived. Yeah. But I would go, and before I would get on the chairlift, I wasn't any good at skiing, like super coordinated, obviously everything, but I would like go to the ski lift, and there would be like a real small younger kid who just learned how to ski, knowing that we're the same age, yet the dad was like, son, don't be worried. Look at this kid. He doesn't know how to ski.
You were 6 feet tall.
It was in Mount Hood. I still remember to this day.
To
this day, I remember him saying, "Oh, look at this kid. He can't ski. He's like 3 years older than you." I was like,
He's really like, no, I'm 8. I just happen to be 6 feet tall.
Yeah, little kid.
Kevin, how many more years?
What is the day in the life like for the league? Like for listeners, like getting tested, protocols. Do you guys have to sit at benches? Like, and how has that been? Because I'm genuinely interested to know what like that day-to-day looks like, how it's different from like a regular day-to-day.
Yeah, well, it's different on practice days because we have to rapid test. So we get 5 swabs a day. We get our rapid test. We have 2 other swabs, one in the throat and one in the
what that mouth do?
One in there.
And we do a couple of nasal swabs. So we have wait like 30 minutes for the rapid to come back and be negative to actually get into the building. And then, I mean, it's masks on at all times, everywhere, no matter where you are, unless you're drinking, eating, or you're on the court. And then we go home, and then we have to come back. We have a second window for 2 more swabs from 5 to 7. So we're getting 5 swabs a day. I think they just extended that protocol through February 11th. And then on the road, it's not like you're completely shut in. But at the same time, you come to New York, there's no indoor dining. You have to go down to the meal room. You have to grab your food, go back to the room. Certain people can't congregate. You have to sit. 6 feet apart. So, a lot of people are saying, hey, you have to be confined basically not only to your room, but the entire hotel. Like, don't leave the hotel. So
That's gotta suck.
It does. I mean, it's tough. Like, the more people are vaccinated, the more we get to a certain number to where it's, what do they say, herd immunity, then we're going to be okay. But I imagine that's going to take a long time. But game day tonight, I just got the message that, and it's kind of fluid where, they're going to test before. Some games we test after on the road at the arena, but sometimes we land, and you guys know where we drive in to park for the plane to take off. They have that little shed there for when we get checked. So we go in there and we get swabs so we don't have to come in the next morning and get our swabs then, especially because we head into a back-to-back. But on the back-to-back, we still, if we have our shoot-around walkthrough at 5 p.m., we have to wrap it at like 4:20 because that takes 30 minutes. Then we have 10 minutes to get ready, and then we get on the court.
Jeez.
It's a lot. I mean,
can you guys hang out and can you guys go to each other's rooms and like play video games? Is it did they, because you guys can't leave, do they set up is there a ballroom now with a bunch of stuff so guys can hang out? But even then you got to be 6 feet apart and you got to wear masks. But I can imagine, so every team has a ballroom that you guys can go hang out in, considering that you can't go out of the hotel.
Pretty much. Whereas, I mean, it's kind of similar to, how many fans they're letting in to the arenas, because it's state to state. Like, I believe that, we have 2,000 in Cleveland. I think you can do that across the board. I think it was more so, in an outdoor space like the Browns had, and, just a bigger stadium. So they could actually do, I think, 12,000. But it's, again, really, really fluid, goes state to state, arena to arena. Like, I think in Boston, they had no fans, only front office and team personnel. New York, it was the same thing. I believe it tonight in Minnesota, it's the same thing. So it's different, man. I mean, it's really different to, even sitting on the bench and watching just the energy and the feel of the crowd and that adrenaline rush just isn't quite the same.
I understand, obviously, all the necessary action and the protocols, and they're there for a reason. And look, at the end of the day, so many of us are needing this entertainment, right? We're needing sports. But I just don't understand from a team standpoint, as you mentioned, you guys are out on the court together, you're sweating all over one another, and yet you can't go back to the hotel and hang out, being one another. I don't understand that.
Well,
Are they giving you guys an answer, clarity on that?
Well, there's necessary exposure and unnecessary exposure. That is a necessary, there, and then the other one is unnecessary. It's we can't prevent you from bumping on each other, but we can prevent you guys from hanging out unnecessarily. It doesn't make, I won't say it makes sense, but yes, to your point, there is a little bit.
We bumping?
And the only reason why I say that a lot is because as you guys knew, man, I really thought we turned a corner with the three of you.
No, we've been really good for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, you have. Richard, he's not getting it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, what else is going on, Kev? Outside of basketball.
Kevin, what are your interests nowadays? You got some
Hey, great cards.
Yes. Tell them what you just got.
No,
wait,
it's
what?
so amazing what really become a tangible asset, right? It's something where, it's people are really parking money into trading cards. I called Channing earlier and said, did you see, I think a PSA 10 Jordan, and for everybody out there, it's a grading system, PSA, and I think there's 2 other companies that do it, but PSA, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the highest. There was a PSA 10 that sold for $300,000 at auction, Jordan rookie card a couple days back, and 2 of them last night sold for $750,000, so $1.5 million for 2 cards. I mean, that market is going, and trading cards are going through the roof right now.
What was that card that sold for?
No, it's not just Gary Vee. It's not just Gary Vee hyping it up anymore. It's it's a
no,
real
I know. That's what I'm saying. That was the first place that I saw it, and I was dude, I remember.
He told me 18 months ago when I went on his podcast. He goes, trust me on this. I'm like, Gary, I love you, and I know that you are really, really smart and can really make a lot of money. But I'm just like, I just like trading cards. They're like 3x5.
Well, you know what it is? You know what? They're like pieces of art. At this point in time, they're pieces of art. Like if you could have a Van Gogh and you could just park it someplace and then you whip it out 15 years later, it's going to be worth more. You have a Michael Jordan rookie card that's one of like 10. You park it, you got it, and it's easier to maintain. You put it in a safety deposit box, whip it out five years later, and it's gone up 30% just, you know, over time. Yeah, that shit's nuts, though.
I'll whip it 5 years later on you.
What'd you say?
What?
Inappropriate.
Out 5 years later from now, right in your face.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, like, dude, we're not going to edit that. We're not going to edit that.
Oh, I just got it. Ha!
Oh,
God, I hate when that happens.
Geez, here we go, Allie.
Get it together.
Allie Clifton's
Outside of that, I got invited to a book club yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
What are we reading?
I don't know yet because Channing invited me yesterday, and the guy just texted me today. What's his name? Jeffrey?
No. Johnny.
Johnny?
Johnny, same thing. Hey, Kev.
818 number, and I was like, who's this?
Hey, Kev. When's the bachelor party?
Soon.
Okay. Well, like this summer, like you know that whether you invite me and Channing, whether you invite us, me and Channing are going to show up.
Already done.
Speaking of, can we talk about her?
Channing, you got a vasectomy?
Oh yeah, but I have.
When did you get a vasectomy?
Do I have to edit this?
No.
Okay.
No, Channing's plumbing doesn't work. When'd you get cut?
After my 4th kid, motherfucker. I can't have no more babies.
I heard that the pressure, like going into the nut, is really not.
The needle was the worst part by far.
Yeah.
Well, what would be the other part that was worse?
Where there's 2 tubes in your balls. One that's like a fluid, and the other one is the sperm.
They tie them up. They don't connect the dots anymore. The dots aren't connected.
No, we cut off one road. It was a 2-lane highway. Now it's just a 1.
Oh my God.
Wait. So what happens?
But's a 2-lane highway.
But's.
Oh my God.
A what?
He said a butt. He said a butt is a 2-lane highway.
No, I say Channing's butt.
No, Channing. Oh yeah, definitely.
No,
Channing. I don't know. I want to hear from a friend that's got his, that's got his like balls cut off. Do they take your balls?
No, I have my balls, Richard.
Is this like what you guys learned in like 8th grade health
Floats
class?
in the air. It floats in the air,
Dude,
just like.
We were talking about that. My brother-in-law. Dude, my brother-in-law has to teach online, like distance learning, sex ed, because he's a PE teacher. And kids in high school don't have to show their face; they just have to check in. So he was telling me a story about how he was going over the, sexual education.
Anatomy.
And one kid in class kept being like, penis, and they kept doing the penis. And so he can't see who's doing it because there's no, it's a blank screen.
Richard,
all of a sudden the whole class just starts giggling. And he's like, I can't even teach us anymore. He's like, penis.
Richard, how often did you play the penis game in high school?
Oh, enough.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? I got real paranoid when I got to like 16, 17. So I was like, look, I might be able to make it out of this fucking place. Like, don't do anything too stupid to get yourself in trouble.
American, right? Like on McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah, Channing wouldn't understand.
Yeah, Channing wouldn't understand that. It's like I actually had something to lose. Channing didn't realize that till he was like a senior in college. He was like, wait, I might actually make it.
I can't really argue that. That was about right. I was just there so I didn't get fined.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
Okay,
so the bachelor party is this. The bachelor party is this summer, Kevin.
Not this summer.
No,
not this summer.
Next summer.
Even if we all get vaccines before we go.
All right, so we're going to bachelor parties. We are trading cards.
Yeah.
Anything else, Kev? I want to ask you this. I'm going to take a turn.
Ask it, Allie.
We're going to go a different direction because we all here, I don't know about these two actually, I'm going to speak for myself. Every time I see something come out, an article come out, the work that you're doing, that you continue to do, you're like the driver of the reality, the awareness, and just simply acknowledging what so many are going through with mental health. You continue to be at the forefront of all of that. Fresh into 2021, in the year that was with 2020, how do you feel you left, maybe not only yourself personally, but the work that you did for so many others? How do you feel you left last year, and as you continue to move forward with it?
Well, even just like right now, I saved messages yesterday in my in my DMs from people that were sharing their stories. For whatever reason, yesterday, I probably got about 50 messages. I mean, there was just a post, I believe it was like SportsCenter or ESPN, where it was breaking down the number of athletes that have dealt with mental health issues and, continuing to talk about it and, erasing the stigma. And so many people were reaching out to me and either saying, where can I go to get some help? Or thank you so much for sharing your story. And, DeMar DeRozan and you and all these other people that came out, Dak Prescott, on and on. People were, sharing their stories and helping a lot of people. But it's amazing. We have a lot of stuff. We just started an education pilot. We now have it in multiple cities. We're hoping to get it nationwide through the Kevin Love Fund, where people are going to be able to share their first-person stories in any type of medium, whether it be writing, photography, film, video, that sort of thing, so on and so forth. We're going to have people come on, different celebrities, not these guys, but people share their own stories about
Actual celebrities.
Yeah,
Actual
you don't want no
celebrities.
celebrities on there.
Hey, I'm C-, Channing. You're D+.
I'll take that. That's passing.
No, but we're having people share their stories that come from all different sorts of backgrounds. As you guys know, this thing doesn't discriminate. Channing, I probably will ask you to come on and hang with us. It's fun. It's 15 and 16-year-olds right now. We want to get into a little bit younger demographic as well. So maybe, 11, 12, 14 years old to get that early detection and intervention. And then continuing to create tools and, research around all of this. But I'll just give you one stat. From the second quarter of 2019 to 2020, anxiety rates tripled in America and depression rates quadrupled. So I don't even think we understand the long-term effects of what this pandemic and everything with the social injustice and unrest and, even the environment, when you consider the wildfires up and down the West Coast and the Northwest, where I'm from, where Kate's from, in Vancouver, BC, California, Washington. And we all know the election and the Capitol riot. Like, there's just so much unrest and uncertainty and no hope. Like that crisis of hope is kind of putting everybody into a tailspin. And actually, different ethnic groups are getting hit worse. And it's tough to see, and they don't have the resources to actually, be treated. So, again, it's going to be another, pandemic that, at the time nobody was talking about, but the best thing that happened during this time is that it has become part of the conversation that's come to the forefront of all of this. So yeah. It's cool to see that people will continue to talk about it, because you're just far more or less likely to detect it and therefore treat it if you don't talk about it and have these tough conversations.
I think it's incredible, Kev, that you continue to not only walk your journey in your own skin, in your own shoes, but all the while want to be there for others. And I don't think that your voice can be heard enough. So
yeah. Really, well, cheers to you, Kevin.
Yeah, we can sit here and have all the jokes, the laughs, and that's what we need. But at the bottom of it all, just know that from us.
Hell yeah.
Really.
Thank you.
So, all right, this has been great. It's been so fun to get back together.
Allie's like, I have so much editing to do. It makes her head
hurt. Do I though?
Right?
Like, I know there's a couple parts, but like when you guys really got into it, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, the vasectomy part where Channing said it's like a gender reveal. It goes.